Ladies and gentlemen, it's fabulous to have you back on day 2 of India Today Conclave 2013. To start with a couple of important announcements, we have an exclusive Twitter page for the conclave this year. You can participate all through the event. The hashtag you have to use is conclave13. And if you don't have a Twitter account, you can go visit any of the Twitter booths we have set up right across the hotel. Also, there is a new section we've added to the conclave this year, Bright Young Things, a series of mini sessions by rising stars in their respective fields. And the first 2 sessions, in fact, are going to be with 2 such bright young things. And kicking it off right away is Anushka Sharma. She's the bright young thing in Indian films, and she's going to be talking about the real woman. Please put your hands together for the young, talented, and much acclaimed Anushka Sharma, a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind. And I'm very happy to say that I do have something in common with her. She also is an army kid. A very quick introduction, Anushka, before I give the floor over to you. Anushka is not someone who needs much introduction. I'm sure most of you in the audience would have seen her films. Already in her 5 years in the Indian film industry, she is the recipient of a Filmfare Award. But it's the one thing that really caught my attention when I was researching about her. 2 roles that she has played. One in Band Baja Barat and the other in Ladies vs. Ricky Behel. Anushka played a woman who's not afraid to put her career, to put herself before everything else. She was not willing to play the Sati Savitri, the woman for whom family was foremost. And maybe her career came second, and she, of course, came last. She was a woman who did not have any guilt whatsoever of being who she is. She is the new woman, and that's exactly what she's going to be talking about today at the conclave. Anushka, over to you.
I look very attractive right now. Please be nice to me. I'm extremely nervous. I'm a terrible public speaker. Thank you. So, when I was asked to speak here today, I was thrilled because I thought, these guys think I'm smart enough to speak in front of such an intelligent audience. And immediately I felt fear because you can make me feel smart, but like I said, you cannot get rid of my stage fright. So I wanted to be really prepared with my speech to dazzle you all. The topic kept changing, so I would write something and then it would change, so I'd tear the paper off and, so on and so forth. Till finally I spoke to Kaveri and she calmed me down and she said, don't worry, forget about any topic we've spoken about so far and just talk about yourself. And I thought, hey, talk about myself. I'm an actor. How hard can that be? We are known to be self-centered, conceited, well, and all that, pompous, it goes on. Kaveri believes I have a success story to tell because of the choices I made in my short career, and I didn't want to say anything to that because people calling you successful always feels great no matter what you actually think of yourself. So I started to retrospect the past few years I've been in the film industry. I never started off my career in films with a set plan. I just chose to do the work that came along that seemed right to me. There have been a lot of discussions on many forums about the contribution and effects films have on society, and recently especially on the portrayal of women in films. I do not consider myself a feminist. I do not believe that by doing female-oriented films that depict a woman fighting the system, we can change the system. That by omitting item songs, we can see a radical change. Here onwards, I will share my thoughts, my individual thoughts, not the thoughts of a celebrity or a public figure. I believe that in a democracy, I should exercise my opinion, especially when speaking on such a platform. So here I am today, talking to you a lot about my journey, career choices, and, well, my thoughts. Preparing for this, I revisited the characters I've played in films and actually started to dissect the character traits and observe some significant traits that I'd like to share. In Band Baja Barat, I played the character of Shruti Kakkad, a regular, ambitious college girl from Delhi who goes on to start a successful wedding planning business and even trains and teaches an aimless guy the tricks of the trade. Now, this girl is someone whose lower middle class parents supported her decision to start her business, and put marriage on the back burner till satisfied. With the support in tow, she strategizes, has a plan, is resourceful and determined. She handles many men who work under her with perfect ease. She later goes on to have an intimate relationship with a guy friend and doesn't seem flummoxed at any time during the film for the choice she made. To me, this is a very normal girl. She had a dream, she went for it, and she never apologized for any of the choices she made, even though they may appear wrong to some. Talking about Jab Tak Hai Jaan, my latest release, my character of Akira Rai is again a very ambitious documentary filmmaker who wants to turn her first big opportunity into a ticket to a London's channel office. She discusses her ambitious plans with as much excitement and ease as her wish to have sex with men with different accents. These are her choices, and she's unperturbed by them, even though they may raise a few eyebrows. I didn't choose these characters because I thought, wow, these women are so strong. But I chose and enacted them with utmost conviction because I thought they appeared realistic enough to exist, and well, I just really like the scripts. So my decision came from, will this film and character work, and not from, will this girl portray the essence of what a real woman should be. We are all products of the choices we make. I'm often asked what drove me to play strong, real, regular girl with jobs. And I try really hard to think of a clever reply, but honestly, there is none. Because I made these choices because I just did. It felt right. I thought these films would be successful, and I thought these girls I was playing were cool and fun, and also because I could relate to them in some way. But the real reason behind the success is the fact that people liked these films and accepted the characters just the way they were. What I see as my success is that I made my own decisions without following any set mold that is often attached to female protagonists, and it worked. With my acceptance as an actress came endorsement brands, woohoo! Here too, there were choices and decisions. When a sanitary napkin brand approached me, they were very skeptical and uncertain about my willingness to get associated with the product, because till then actresses had not endorsed a sanitary napkin brand. And families still felt uncomfortable talking about it openly. I mean, it's the most natural thing. Every girl gets it. It's painful, but we get it. You also study about it in Life Process 1 and Life Process 2 in CBSE boards. It's not like other brands had not tried to change the perception of people towards the product, but the changes were so drastic. Like the woman suddenly turns into a superwoman and can suddenly take care of all the social stigmas around her. And, with the newfound confidence. And I thought, then what? I mean, do you lose the magic powers after the periods have passed? Why can't the approach just be normal, So when we worked on the creatives, the girl, me, just woke up, brushed her teeth, drank coffee, was aware of her periods, wore her shoes, picked her bag, and went to work just like any normal girl would. Brands pay well, but that is not the only reason to do them. Television carries a huge viewership, and advertisements make for a great way of creatively putting across your views. Like when this telecommunication brand came to me, their creative struck a chord with me. Here, there was a technologically savvy girl who was always one up on the guy by telling him about the latest developments in technology, which is normally considered to be a domain dominated by men. The girl was not modeled to put the guy down and prove her at par existence, but it was just a girl having some fun with a guy friend. So when a brand shows that kind of confidence in a female protagonist as the face of the brand, it finds an instant click with me. It is only when I sat down to write what I'm speaking now, I realized that when I played these characters, I did not see them as strong characters. They seemed like very normal, everyday girls to me, because to me, strength was taken for an innate quality. I made these choices in my roles and brands simply because they appealed to me. I did not consciously make these choices in order to portray strong female characters or to try and influence the mindset of my audience. Maybe that's because I've never made a distinction or seen women as weak or strong in the first place, who never felt the need to contrive a strong image. I believe that's because of my upbringing or my army background. I strongly feel it is when you see weakness that you find the need to project strength. I see such strong girls around me all the time. My manager, Ritika, my publicist, Monica, my makeup artist, Puneet, my friend, Ashaman. And these are all very independent, capable, and strong women So when you grow up around such people, these choices seem most natural. Not only my immediate peers, but even with all the girls that I've interacted with in small and big cities, I've always sensed an instinctive drive and strong determination. But perhaps the environment they've been subjected to has restricted their drive and will to participate equally in society. I like to think of myself as a bit of a philosopher. I truly believe that a man's perception of the same object can differ drastically based on how he or she is conditioned to perceive. Let's take, for example, item songs in Hindi films. My contemporaries have performed item songs. I haven't out of choice because it hasn't appealed to me as an artist creatively yet. But at the same time, I do not vilify it. Rather, I consider it a part of entertainment in films. What I may have a problem with is if the songs are not done well. Who is to govern how an item song will be perceived by different mindsets? My brother is also young and watches these songs. He thinks Katrina or Karina are beautiful and appealing, but that doesn't mean that he will go on the streets and think it is okay to grope and grab a woman just because another woman is performing a song out of her choice. Having said that, another point to be noted is that these item songs garner maximum viewership, and they are also played in all weddings and family functions. So why should an actress or a film industry carry the responsibility and be subject to this hypocrisy in the system? The popularity of these songs is testimony to its acceptance. So, if you're all accepting it, then take responsibility for your choices. The efforts of the government should be in the right places. It is very simple. Every time you say government, you just feel scared suddenly. The efforts of the government should be in the right places. It is very simple to pass a diktat on the film industry, which is an organized body governed by rules. But is that really the answer? What this goes to show is that the people in a democratic country like us are not fit to make the right choices if the options were left to them. And if this is the case, then deem the country folks unfit in a democratic setup and erase democracy. Passing a uniform law in such a diverse nation is not the answer. Because if I am deprived of making a choice to watch a song on television or not, then what sort of democracy is this anyway? Passing a strong regulation like this in a democracy, which may not be the consensus of the public, defeats the purpose of a democracy. So let item songs exist, but work towards educating the society so that they can themselves make responsible decisions. Because, by such censorship and disorganized film, the disorganized film sectors that are not influenced by the censor board will cease to exist. No, that's not going to happen. Rather, they will only flourish illegally to meet the demands of the people, giving rise to corruption. So basically, this decision may just end up with what result? Stop a crime and give rise to another. Is moral policing in films really the answer then? Giving rise to an even more repressed society through such bans and censors is definitely not the right approach, in my opinion. Charity begins at home. Change begins at home. Pointing fingers at an organization or government is mere escapism from reality. There is a human tendency of resorting to shortcuts by applying minimum efforts and expecting great results. Pointing fingers on others is akin to minimum efforts, whereas it requires a great deal of efforts and conviction to correct yourself and people directly under your influence. You may be a father, mother, teacher, or a housing society official, and so on. I enjoy the freedom I receive to pursue my dreams, live without fear, and not feel vulnerable in the hands of the society because of the environment, army upbringing, and many heart-to-heart discussions I shared with my father and my elder brother growing up. If I was to be asked if my father was the head of the family when I was growing up, my answer would be yes and no. Because my mother took over as head intermittently when my father was deployed on borders or non-family stations. So in the formative years of conditioning of my mind, both the heads of my family were always at par, were always equal. With this understanding, I grew up utilizing my energy, drive, determination to achieve my goal to its optimum because I was never weighed down by a deep sense of vulnerability and insecurity as a girl. In my mind, there was no difference between a Tarang, a Nirant, a Arjun, or any other guy I competed with academically or while playing basketball. But what is more important to know is that even these boys felt no difference between them and me. If this were to happen to every girl in my country, then I would feel contented that I'm living in a true democratic society. Thank you. Now what do I do? Go there?
Thank you, Anushka. And why don't we immediately open this up and take a few questions from the audience, because I do not want to hog all the time. And Can you please put up your hands if you have questions for Anushka? We'll take a couple of questions from the audience to start with. That lady over there in white. Can you please stand up and identify yourself?
Hello, I am Jyoti Devan from Sri Ram Swaroop Memorial University, Lucknow, and I have seen you in your highs and in your lows, and I just want to know what motivates you and inspires you when you're down below, and how you maintain your balance when you're like being applauded by everyone.
So I mean, my lows, I was trying really hard to escape everybody at the time.
And what makes you have a level head when you're like being applauded and awarded and all that?
I mean, I think you have to be level-headed because I have to move forward. If I get stuck with the accomplishments of one particular time in my life, then, you know, there's more to achieve in the future. But I enjoy what I do, and that's very important. I really enjoy what I do. I love going to work. I love shooting. I love doing whatever I do. And I think that keeps you going, and that accomplishments come from, you know, having done your work right in the evening when you finish working, to me.
But it's an uncertain world, the world of glamour. So what inspires you, helps you to maintain your strength when you're competing with like the best for eyeballs and for mind space?
Let's give others a chance.
It is uncertain, but like I said, you know, you cannot work here around in the industry keeping that in mind. It is uncertain, and I think every job is. I mean, I don't think, I mean, in some ways or the other. Mine is slightly more, and also because we always, you know, spoken about, written about, it seems more obvious. But it's in the nature of the job, and just, like I said, continuing to work is the only way. I think it's the most simple way, and that's the only way, and only thing that's worked for me.
Okay, Anushka, we're also getting a lot of questions from the internet. There is one question from Vimal in Gujarat. He says, you worked with SRK and now you're working with Amir Khan. How easy or tough was it to be paired with the two? And also, who was the easier person to work with? Amir Khan is supposed to be quite a nightmare, apparently.
You think I'm going to answer that?
Come on.
No, that's not going to happen.
You're the real woman. You're fearless.
Yeah, but I'm not dumb.
Okay, say nice things.
They're both lovely, and no, really, they are. I'm serious. They're lovely. They're different. Very focused. I think I know Shah Rukh better because I've done 2 films with him, so the comfort level is different. But Amir is a real joy to watch. It's like, you know, like she was talking about all the distractions and all the insecurities that come with the job. But he manages to compartmentalize his work so well that when he's doing something, like whether he's in a reading or he's doing a look test or he's shooting, that's all that he's doing at the moment. Nothing else matters.
But we're paired with such strong actors, I mean, actors who pretty much take up the whole frame. How difficult is it to assert yourself? Do you think that you're being relegated to bit parts when you're sharing screen space with them?
To me, that thought has never occurred. I think both the films that I've done with Shah Rukh, I liked my role. I loved my roles, actually, in both films. Especially in my first movie, I was, if not, I mean, it was definitely an equal role. And in your very first film to achieve that, I think I think it was, I guess, I was lucky. And at the same time, Shah Rukh never made me feel like I was a newcomer or I didn't know enough or, you know, well enough. So it just, you know, makes it easy then.
And from what I've read, Shah Rukh Khan also felt you gave him quite a run for his money, especially when it came to the dancing scenes and everything.
I just rehearsed more than he did because I had nothing else to do. And he had many movies to shoot.
Okay, the gentleman there in the black waistcoat. Please make your question really crisp, no observations, simple, straight question. Identify yourself first.
Thank you. My name is Santosh. I am from Chennai. I subscribe Filmfare. Every Filmfare, she get a story. And I heard that a lot of stories been paid stories. So I'd like to know more about, you know, that. Even Times of India.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. Could you repeat yourself?
Yeah. I subscribe to Filmfare.
Yes.
And also I subscribe Times of India paper. And every time, on every issue, there is some cover story about you or about your films or pictures of you. And I heard the stories are paid.
Are paid?
Paid stories.
What?
Paid story.
Paid stories?
Yes.
Who's telling you this? Your newspaper wala?
Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they all accept. They are laughing. That means they're all accepting. Thank you.
I think
Are
that's
you
an
all
unfair
laughing because
assumption.
you're accepting? Raise your hands if you're laughing because you're accepting. No, listen, there is something known as MediaNet, but that's used for films. And I have never subscribed to that, ever. I think, in fact, I've always maintained a low profile. I find it very difficult to talk about what nail color I changed, or which holiday I went for, or what a fan told me in an airport. So, no.
Or maybe you're doing roles that get you on the cover.
The cover, to matlab, it's a damn good thing. Yeah, why the hell are you making me feel bad about it?
This gentleman here.
It takes a lot of work to get there. Come on, Chennai, come on.
This gentleman here in the front.
Hi, my name is Swapan Seth. So last night I read an interview where Johnny Depp said he was scared of fear. Do you find fear fearsome? And fame?
I'm always constantly in a state of fear and nervousness all the time. But I think with each film, and as I'm progressing in my career, I've managed to channelize that nervous energy into performance. And I've realized that it helps. Because it's going in the right direction, and most of the time that happens because there's too much going on in your head, and it's not just your job, I mean, there's sometimes people are talking, you have to make some decisions, which, I mean, that mostly to me the fear and the worry comes from outside, factors, but you just channelize it into the right way.
Okay, this lady here in the front, but before that, Anushka, I wanted to ask you this. The big buzz right now is you're doing Steven Spielberg's next film. Out with it. What's really going on?
I have no comment to make on that.
Please, little bit, hint.
Are
you in talks?
I thought I gave such a nice answer. I've never given like
Did
a
he speak to you?
one-line answer. I have no comment to make on that.
Have they approached you?
God, you're so pushy.
My job.
I have no comment to make on that. I have no comment to make on that. I'm serious, ma'am. I have no comment.
The lady here in the front.
Anushka, I just want to ask you, as a newcomer, you just, your first film was with Shah Rukh. How difficult was it to break into the industry and bag such a great role? It doesn't happen with everyone. Was it very difficult?
Often I'm very ashamed to tell people my story and how I got my first film, because there's no struggle in it, and then it just seems like it's a boring story. Because I just auditioned and I got the film. And it's as simple as that. Yes, that's it. I just auditioned and I got the film.
General Malik, please.
It was a good audition. I did well.
Anushka, first thing I want to tell you, as an ex-army man, I'm very, very proud of you. And all other girls who are doing so well in whatever career that they have chosen, including somebody who's sitting next to you, Padmaja. You have mentioned about your army background. Would you like to elaborate a little more that beside the parents' influence, your father was in field area many a times, and your mother looked after you both as a father and a mother. What other aspects of army life have you imbibed or have you felt influence your life?
The army men wear the same uniform. And to me that symbolizes, I've always seen my friends and my friends' parents, equally. We've never thought about things like our economic status or, because everything was very equal. I think when you're given that sort of a security as a kid, Because I mean, what could you know as a child? I mean, what would you, what kind of, you don't know what the problems are till you face them. You know, it's only when I got out and I've got into films that these topics of, you know, equality, etc., came forward. But I would say it's just that there was always equality. So that kept me in a, you know, me and all the other kids, I think, in a state where we could then accomplish a lot more other things. You know, we didn't have to struggle through all these thoughts and, you know, and then make our way. We were already, you know, stable and stationed.
Sabah.
Hi, Anushka, I'm Sabah from Headlines Today. What is that one thing you would want to change about your profession? What is that one thing you don't like about being an actress? What is it? Is it the promotions, the makeup, what is it?
I just wish they paid us more, actresses. You know, there was some way of deciding, you know, like some kind of way of deciding better paychecks for us.
Anushka, you come from a non-film background, but you said your audition was, you know, you gave a good audition, you got in. But after that, to make your mark, was there a point where you had, you know, where you would face self-doubt, where you said this is not the right place? Was there a really uncomfortable moment for you where you realized that maybe the film industry was not such an easy place to be?
You know, after my first film release, I didn't have a film for 6 months, and I came out in a very big film, so the hype was a lot and people knew about me. So it's when you struggle after doing a film, that struggle is far worse than, you know, struggling before you grab the first opportunity. But that time was very helpful. See, I came from a very protected environment, you know. For me to understand this world was very important, and especially because I never thought that I was going to become an actress. It's only when you grow up thinking that you want to be an actor, you know, you kind of are aware of how to behave. I had problems like I didn't know how to react when people came up to me with, you know, for interviews or, you know, not for autographs, and, you know, if they would notice me, I just didn't know how to react. These small things like these. And those 6 months, I think I just kind of stabilized and understood what I was doing, where I was. And I think that was important. So if that time hadn't come, I don't know, maybe I would have been maybe I wouldn't be here right now.
But was there a time when someone said, ma'am, you don't have a film, 6 mahine ho gaye, what about an item number, thoda sa aisa kar lo, the scene demands it?
You know, when everybody wants to give you advice after your first film, everyone has an opinion, everyone wants to give you an advice. And it's like I've tried to do things slightly differently in terms of the roles that I've picked up. But after my first film, the same kind of roles came to me, the same. Like I played a, you know, small town girl, Tani from Amritsar, and all the roles that came were like that. So it was difficult to say no, because then there was nothing else, you know, anything else happening. And then of course the pressure from the media was, you know, what are you doing next? What's the next film? What's going to happen next? But I think I just maintained, you know, my ground, because I wanted to do only good films. I wanted to do films that I could be convinced doing, because that conviction is very important. You know, it comes through when you're performing, when you're acting in a movie, and you genuinely feel conviction for the project that you're doing. I don't know how, but it always translates on screen.
That lady there in black.
Hi Anushka, I'm Jharna from TV Asia. What is the one dream role that you'd like to play?
You know, these questions like dream role and, you know, what's your favorite film and favorite song, I sometimes sit and think about it and write down, because I really don't know how to answer these questions. There is no dream role. I actually don't have the capacity to imagine a very good role. I could not have imagined that I'd get a role like Shruti Kakkar, which I think is what, you know, it's a very significant character film in my life. But I could never imagine at the time that I could get a film or character like that. So I think it's best left to, you know, we have lovely filmmakers right now. They come from all parts of the country. You know, they have different experiences and they've seen life differently. So they're coming and, you know, doing some really unique work. And I just want to leave it to them to decide and pick me for the right roles. Because I mean, even if I did have a dream role, like what am I supposed to do about it? It's not like I have enough money to make the film with that dream role anyway. So, you know,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anushka, a final question. Shah Rukh Khan just said a couple of days ago that in my films, in the credit rolls, I'm going to have the female actors' name first and then the male actors. Do you think something like that is going to work? Is it really going to change mindsets within the industry? What is the mindset really?
I think it's a lovely gesture on his part, but in my opinion, there should be no discrimination on the basis of gender. I mean, if an actress is more popular than the actor, her name should come first. Just for an example, you know, like for example, Ishaq Zadeh was a film. It starred Parineeti Chopra and Arjun Kapoor. Now Parineeti had already done a film and she was slightly more popular than Arjun Kapoor, but Arjun Kapoor's name came first. So I think it should be just on the basis of popularity and not on the basis of gender.
Is that also because of his famous last name? His
Okay, fine. Then Band Baja Barat. Ranveer Singh's name came before mine.
All right, can we have a huge round of applause for Anushka Sharma? She's been fabulous. We've had a kicking first session at the India Today Conclave Day 2. Can I please request Mr. Ashish Bagga to come on stage and give a small token of our appreciation to Anushka? And it won't hurt to clap. Thank you.